Christine, and welcome to this short sequence for shoulder mobility. So, we're going to work on opening up the shoulders and the chest area to increase our shoulder mobility, to maintain our shoulder mobility. This is a sequence I like to include in a lot of my classes, and I hope that you'll enjoy it with me today. So, a couple of props. We'll need a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a scarf. I like to say the belt on your bathrobe is a good one, right? So that's always a nice option. So you can use something like that. Just not one of those elastic bands, right? Because that's going to have all this give in it. We want something that's going to be held taut, right? And then I've just got a couple of blocks with me here because I'm going to be sitting kneeling for a little while we do the shoulder sequence. I'm going to place my two blocks between the heels so that I can elevate the hips. Right, so even if you tend to be comfortable sitting lower, we're not here to do um, any thigh stretching or any work on that. So we're just going to get comfortable, right? Somewhere where you can sit for a little while. If you would prefer to be down on only one block, of course, you can do that as well. And there we have it. So what I like about sitting with the in this like hero's pose like position, this Virasana like pose position, is that rarely do we actually ever internally rotate our thighs. A lot of like hip opening and all of this stuff that we do in yoga, we're externally rotating. So this is actually kind of getting us into a slight internal rotation and keeping things in line with the hips, the knees in line with the hips. It's a little bit more balanced. And then also from there, it's easy to access. You can just tilt your pelvis back and forth a couple of times. You can feel your sit bones right there on the blocks, right? And from there, you can become a bit more mindful of, okay, so what is it when I'm too far forward? What is it when I'm too far back? And can I find that little spot where I'm balanced in between? And the bowl of the pelvis is more or less balanced here. You can think of your pelvis really like a bowl, and you don't want to be spilling any water out the front or out the back, right? And then once you're sitting firm like this, we want to be mindful throughout this sequence of our lower ribs, right? So you want to try and keep those lower ribs tucking in as though you're trying to bring them closer to your hip bones, but without rounding and hunching in the upper back, right, in the upper spine. So we just keep that upright. You can even roll your shoulders back, keep those ribs in, and that's a nice good posture for you right there. Let's start by using the strap. So I'm going to hold the buckle in my hand so that I don't have it clanking on the ground. And then I'm going to open up the arms nice and wide here. Now, one thing I want you to be mindful of as we go through this movement is not to break at the wrist. So what I mean by that is you want to keep a straight line in your arm to your hand without the wrist bending in any way to accommodate this movement. If that's happening, then you probably just need to open your hands a little bit farther apart. Okay, so all we're going to do here is we're going to inhale as we take the arms up overhead, and then exhale, bring them back. Right? That's where that breaking in the wrist thing can happen, right? As you're going back. So just be mindful of that. We'll again inhale, arms up, and exhale, arms down. Good. So you can now play with it. If that wasn't much of a stretch for you, you can walk your hands in a little bit closer together. Inhale up, exhale back, inhale up, and exhale back or forward. And then maybe go in a little closer. So every time that we do this, you have an opportunity to adjust either hands closer together or farther apart. Good, and we're going to do that twice more. Keep those ribs tucking in. Nice. And you can move your strap off to the side. Good, so let's start on the right arm. You're going to just take your right arm and bring it across your body and just catch it with your left hand. Okay, so you can just kind of either hook it in your elbow or hold it in your hand. And you want to be mindful that you're not turning your body over to the left. You want to keep everything facing straight forward, and it's just your arm that's going to go across the body and you catch it. And then also notice if you're shrugging your shoulder to your ear and drop it down. Right? Couple of breaths there. From here, if you're just holding, you are now going to try and get your arm into the elbow crease on the left arm. right? One arm on elbow on top of the other. Good. And now here's a few options. You may need to stay with just giving yourself a little hug, both elbows in front of you. Or you can start to navigate the backs of your hands towards one another. Or if you have the mobility in your shoulders, you can now tuck your fingers around to your wrist. Good. We call this eagle arms or Garudasana arms. A couple of breaths there. And now you can maybe just lift your elbows a bit. And then try to move your hands away from your face. All right, that'll just change a bit of the tension that we're creating here as we deepen the stretch. Good. Now, if you do have your hands clasped, release so that we're all in this version here where the backs of the hands are navigating towards one another. I want you to turn your palms to face me, to face the camera, to face the screen. Okay, and now your thumbs are pointing out. Turn your thumbs to point down. Change the cross from being at your elbows to your wrists and touch your hands. And hopefully that worked. Hopefully that worked. We'll take the arms up overhead. That one often gets a few puzzled looks in the classroom. It's like a brain teaser. Like, I'm doing what with my hands? I'm doing what with my arms? So you get your arms up overhead and you want to bring your pinky fingers back as much as you can without puffing up your ribs, right? You're keeping them knit in, keeping the shoulders integrated so you're not shrugging up to your ears. You've got the shoulder blades trying to slide down the back here. Couple more breaths. Good. You can release this. And now bend your right elbow and hold it with your left hand. Right, it's a little tricep stretch. Good. And you can maybe even guide your arm a bit more behind your head, but be mindful here not to use your arm to start pressing your head forward, right? In fact, I'd like you to press your head straight back into your arm, right? So you're not lifting the chin, you're just pressing the head back. Maybe using a bit of your neck muscles here. Good. Now that right hand back there that's just kind of free, I want you to hold your left tricep. Get a good solid grip on it. You're going to let go of your right elbow this time. Turn your left hand to point away from you. Good. Now you're not losing the grip on your tricep. That's your leverage point. Start to press your left hand down, and that'll help deepen the shoulder opening. No matter how far you press down, each side's probably going to look a little different. Keep pressing the back of your head into your arm so that you're keeping your chin parallel to the ground and your lower ribs are staying tucked in. Breathe. Good. Release. Interlace your fingers up overhead. Flip your palms inside out as you press them up to the sky. Reach up evenly through your pinky fingers and your thumbs. And release. Good. You can kind of shake that out. Good. And every side's a little different. Everybody's got a right and a left that are different than one another, a little bit tighter from one side to the other. Maybe you've even had injuries in a shoulder or something. So be mindful with this. I'm trying to give you the options as to where you can go to keep it comfortable and safe and to work within your own mobility. And just be mindful of that as we do the next side. So again, let's just check in. Got your tailbone slightly tucked as you're sitting balanced on your sit bones. Your lower ribs are gently tucked in. Your shoulders are back. Good. And now take that left arm and just bring it across your body and catch it. Maybe hook it into your elbow. Try not to bring your shoulder up to the ear. Keep it down. A couple of breaths. Good. Really crossing one elbow over the other. Remember your options. You can give yourself a hug. You can navigate the backs of the hands towards one another, or you can hook your fingers around your wrist for eagle arms. You can send some breath here into the back, into the space between your shoulder blades. Now, if you do have the eagle arms, you can try to lift your elbows a bit and press your hands away from your face for the last couple breaths. Good. So here's our funny little brain teaser one, right? So we got the backs of the hands navigating towards one another. We turn the palms forward. We turn the palms to face one another, touch the palms. Bring the arms overhead. Keep those ribs in as you bring your pinky fingers back. Good. Release this. This time you're holding your left elbow with your right hand. Tricep stretch, maybe guiding the arm behind the head, keeping the ribs in, pushing the back of the head into your arm. That'll help you deepen the stretch. There we are. We're going to hold that right tricep with the left hand. The right hand's up in the air again. You're still pushing your head straight back and then pushing that right palm down to get a little bit more leverage to open the left shoulder. Don't release your right arm. That's your leverage point. Good. Slow and kind. We release. You can bring your arms behind you, interlace your fingers. Keep your palms squeezing towards one another. Keep a little bend in your elbows. You can put your hands on your sacrum, squeeze the elbows back behind you like you're trying to hide them from yourself, and then lift the hands up. Reach out through the knuckles, open up the chest and the front of the shoulders. A couple of breaths there into the space of your heart. Very good. And shake it all out. So that's our little sequence today for increasing and maintaining shoulder mobility. I hope that you enjoyed this one. You can always like and subscribe and ring the bell and even join the inner circle over at christine-gannett.com, where I send out weekly insights and interesting fun stuff, including more videos just like these. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.